So today's the 20th now. Just doing some snow shoveling out back, making some room. Gotta fit in more cakes. Let's put that back in the chest there. There we go. Right, so let's go and have a look at what's behind door number 20 of our calendar. Last time we got a crane stealing our gift. I wonder what will steal or maim or destroy our gift today. To be honest, I've begun to enjoy it. I guess some of the things are quite creative, but I don't know. Can't help but feel as though the gifts would be more useful for me. So, here's door number 20. Let's have a look, shall we? So, coming out into the clearing. Oh, okay. That's weird. What are those? They look like plants. Oh god. Oh, they grew quickly. Oh, there's more of them? Oh god, they're multiplying. Oh god. Oh my god, there's so many. How do I get to the present? Nope. Can't. Oh god, there's. Wow, this is a lot. This is worse than that flood. Except in the flood I got wet. Nope. No, there's no way around. They just keep spreading. I think I'm gonna go. Yep, I'm gonna run. Yep, present's lost. Bye, present. Oh god. I hope they don't make it to my house. They only seem to be spreading onto the snow. I think we're okay. Alright, let's go. So, time to look behind the scenes at all of the command blocks that controlled the infectious chorus plant growth that we just saw. First of all, let's cover the activation. We are using the same activation as per usual, detecting sponge, and if that is successful, I fill air in here and command block here, which starts running the many commands that we have to control the logic behind the spread, and of course the sponges down there. Looks quite pretty once it's sort of done. Very intensive. I've put in place things to make it less intensive, but it does end up lagging the game, as you probably saw by the end there. Right, so the whole thing is done around an entity. If we we can probably do that. If I press F3N, if we look in here, we can see that there is an invisible armor stand that's located in the middle of this endstone block. And it is called core, and we will continue to refer to this armor stand as core as we go through these commands. So what do we do first? Well, first we have two scoreboards to help us with this. The first is clock, and that's going up every game tick. We increment every core score by 1, so the time is going up, and when it gets to 60, or well, when it gets to 61, it goes back down to 0. So if it's on 61, it just goes to 0 and runs it like it was 0, and then it goes 1, 2, 3, and all the way back up to 60, and then back down to 0 again. The next command we have here is a simple remove snow. If there is a core inside of a snow block, we want that snow block to turn into an endstone block, and so that's why the snow slowly transforms. Over here we have distribute grow points. This is a little bit complex. This is where the main growth thing happens. This is how they spread. It controls the spread, it controls the height, and the growth of the cores as they spread over the snow. So let's get into this. So it uses a new type of score. It uses the grow score, and if we go to the beginning, I press the home button to go to the beginning of the command, we have a simple execute command. So at every single core we want to execute a detect, and we want to check that they have a chorus plant above them. This guarantees that they're in the first stage of growth. We'll get into growth stages in a second as well as we move up the command line. So this will make sure that they're in the first stage of growth, and that essentially means that they have a point to give away to another core plant. So this at a core plant that is at growth stage 1 will run the following command. It will look for a random armor stand that's called core, and then that armor stand will run a add command, and it will give itself 1 extra growth. So what's essentially happening here is if we had 2 of these, so we had another one, well, actually it wouldn't matter where it is. If this other one was over here, this guy here, because it's at growth stage 1, would deposit, it would vote, essentially randomly. It would give its vote, kind of. It will give a grow score randomly to either itself or any other. So it will give it to this or this. So let's say it gave it to this, then the next commands would allow it to grow because it gets a growth score. And of course, if there's 2 of these, this one randomly gives a growth score to one of these 3, and this one randomly gives a growth score to one of these 3. So if both of these gave their growth scores to this, it could grow twice. And so that is how the sort of logic behind it works, and that's what's sort of going on with here. Over here we have the control for growth stage 1. Essentially at time minimum 20, so when it reaches the 20 time, so when the core entity has a time of 20, and when it has a growth score of at least one, it will check if it has air above it. If it has air above it, it's obviously growth stage 0, it's new, and so it will set the air block above it into a chorus block, which will mean that it's growth stage 1. Then after that, to end growth stage 1, we have this conditional command block. So only if this is successful, it will again run at the exact same entity. It will make sure that the placing the chorus plant thing was successful. So if there's a chorus plant, it will remove its growth score of 1. So if it gets a growth score of 1, it gets that growth score reduced to 0, which means it can't grow again. But if it had a growth score of 2, it will remove it to 1, which means it can still grow. And that's where the stage 2 comes in. It does exactly the same as the stage 1, except this time it's at time 40, and it's looking 2 blocks above it for an air block, and then it will set that to a chorus plant. Finally, we have growth stage 3. This is what places the chorus flower on top. As you can see, it looks 3 up. And all of these, again, have this reduction of growth, where it will remove 1 score every time it grows. So if it got a growth score of 3, it would go 1, 2, and then it would also, let's find, there we go, chorus flower. It would set the chorus flower to 3, and that grows really, really quickly because I have changed the random tick speed to absurdly high, and that is a game rule. Game rule, random tick speed, there you go. And currently it's at like 5,000, so they grow nearly instantaneously. It looks quite cool, I think. So that's the growth stages covered. Next we have seed stages. So once it is grown fully, so once it has gone through all of these commands, if it goes through all 3 commands and it still has a growth score, or it's grown fully and therefore cannot grow anymore, it would still have a growth score left over when it gets to these commands. And so what happens with the seeding command, I'll run through one of the commands and then I'll sort of give you a visual demonstration again. So what it will do is it'll execute at time 60 if the core still has a growth score. It will detect, in this case, in the 1-1 direction, so diagonally from it, it will detect if there's a snow block. If there is, that means there is not currently a core plant growing there. So it will summon a core plant there with the invisibility, the small tag, and everything. And because it's summoned that core plant there, the core plant will then obviously start going through its own life life cycle as well. And then the one above it, instead of removing one growth score, it actually just straight up sets the growth score to 0. So once it's seeded, it will set its growth score to 0 every time. So it can only grow once every 60 game ticks. It can only seed, one extra location every 60 game ticks. Whereas if it has 3 growth score, it could fully grow within 60 game ticks. So it can grow quite quickly in that case. And then we have the seeds for each of the coordinates. So it has this, and has this one and this one. So it will go through those one at a time. So if there isn't one here, it will put one here. If there isn't one here, it will put one here. And then here, and then here. I think that's how I did it. Actually, I think I did this one, then this one, then this one, then this one. So it goes around in that style. Although when I run this, you should be able to see it happen. And then going all the way up to the top, we have what makes a core plant die. So the entity kills itself once it has nothing else to do, and we know that because it will be times 60 again. And if its growth score is at least 5, that means that it's gone through all of this 5 times without anything to do. So nothing has changed, and therefore it will just kill itself. So the entity will stop existing. So if we run this and place a redstone block there, this should start growing. Oh, I think I've put the wrong command block there. Let's have a look. That command block is empty. Silly me. Okay, let's grab an actual working command block. I must have forgotten to shift with it. Yes, this is the one which actually works. Okay, so let's put that down there. There we go. As we can see it start growing. It's spread over to here. These both now spread again. If I scoreboard objectives, time, we'll see the time scores going up massively, and it will keep spreading here. As the population grows, it actually grows faster. There we go. And then all of them have killed themselves because there's nowhere else for anything to spread. The population reached its maximum. It has taken up all available space. And so the population has ended up killing itself. Oh, this one grew too. Oh, right, yeah, of course it would. Yes. So yeah, this is how it works. I hope you understood that. It makes this lovely checkerboard pattern. And they're easy to remove in creative mode too. I just need to put these plants down in random places and it'll break them. So that's cool too. Yeah, I thought it was a nice little effect. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Play a game of chess on this.